Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets were down about 0.75% as the manufacturing data that came out from US were below market expectations, and that number was at about 52.8 versus about 53.1 that was reported last month. The 10-year bond yields have actually cooled off to about 2.69, and there is a bit of a contrast in the manufacturing data which is coming out from US, the Eurozone and China. The data that is coming out from China has been better than expectations, and same is the case with the Eurozone, which actually has come out of 5-year period of recession, whereas in the US, last couple of months the data points have not been that positive. European markets too were down about 0.5 to 0.75%, and Mario Draghi has again reiterated his dovish stance on the economy and is willing to take more loans from the banks over a long-term basis. And when we look at the Asian markets, most of the markets are down about 0.6 to 0.7%, particularly Nikkei and Hang Seng both are down almost about 0.65 to 0.7%. And when we look at the SGX Nifty, it's suggesting that we are going to open up about 16 points down, somewhere around 5,900 odd levels. And talking about our own markets, we've seen that the Nifty has lost almost about 200 points in the last 2 trading sessions, and the Bank Nifty has lost about 600 points. And more importantly, the 10-year bond yields have spiked up to almost about 8.85 from about 8.2% earlier. So overall, things are not looking too great. And in terms of flows, FIs were net sellers in the cash market to the tune of 81 crore, and the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of about 741 crore. And in the index futures, we have seen FIs selling to the tune of almost about 82 crore. On that note, let me invite Sharekhan to take us through important F&O cues, data and strategies that we could have in the F&O markets.
Good morning friends, let's have a view at derivatives. Friends, we've been seeing that the markets were unable to hold at higher levels, and markets were down by around more than 2% in yesterday's trade. Now we have seen that around 17.78 lakh shares were added in open interest, and on the other hand we've also seen that the cost of carry has increased marginally. Now having a look at the PCR ratio, it's declined significantly from 1.37 to 1.31, indicating that the activity on call side has geared up compared to that of put, and some long positions have been accumulated in the market in yesterday's trade. Talking about the options activity, friends, it's clearly visible that 5,800 and 900 call as well as put option has seen good amount of activity in yesterday's trade. So on immediate basis, 5,900 would act as a good support for the market from closing basis, and 5,800 in the near term perspective might act as a good support for the market, whereas on the higher side market might continue to face a hurdle around 6,000 levels. Talking about the view, as we are trading about weekly view, our bias for the market is still positive, and what we feel is that from intraday perspective, market may witness whipsaws. From intraday perspective, one can go long on Aurobindo Pharma by maintaining a stop loss of 186 rupees 40 paisa. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, Videocon Industries is going to have an OFS or offer for sale for about 1.8 million shares. The base price has been fixed at about 177 rupees per share. Post RBI's quarterly monetary policy, the 10-year bond yields have actually increased from 8.13% to almost about 8.85%, which means that almost about 50 to 60 basis points increase, which is definitely negative for the bank's treasury income, and overall the companies which have a huge amount of debt on its books will find it tough to manage in this kind of a scenario. And the rating agency Fitch has downgraded the viability rating for 3 banks, PNB, Bank of Baroda and Indian Bank, from BBB to BB+. The Union Cabinet is likely to consider today a policy for exploration of shale gas, oil and gas, which will initially allow state-owned companies like ONGC and Oil India to tap the unconventional ways of exploring the oil and gas. And the government will initiate auction of 2 ultra mega power projects in Orissa and Tamil Nadu worth about 20,000 crore over the next couple of weeks. There are indications about FT that the fit and proper criteria they may not meet, and that could actually pave the way for its exit from the stake of MCX. Remember friends that FT Group has about 25% stake in MCX, And in another important development, the Greenpeace in its report released on Coal India has said that its reserves have actually depleted to almost about 18.2 billion tons, which is way below the market expectations. So this is something that is negative for Coal India stock. In other important development, air cargo and logistics firm Gati is likely to get about 27 crore kind of an award from Air India in its dispute relating to the airline's dedicated freight services. In company-specific news, Lupin Pharma has been able to get exclusive marketing rights from one of the US companies for one of the products called Locoid Lotion. So one can go long on Lupin with the stop loss of 837 and a target of about 880 to about 896. Unitech, some positive news as a US-based company, Aeon Hewitt, has signed a 800 crore deal with Unitech's ITZ or SEZ based in Gurgaon. So one can go long on Unitech with a stop loss of 16 and a target of about 17.75. State Bank, as the Moody's Investor Services has downgraded the senior unsecured debt and local currency deposit ratings to Baa3, which is the lowest that we've seen. So one can short SBI with a stop loss of 1688 and a target of about 1605 to about 1571. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.